Chapter 1121. Selfish? I just got 3 of them like that? Jian Wushuang still could not believe his luck when he put them into his interspatial ring. Jian Wushuang, not so soon. You get the elixirs. The Jin Kingdom experts won't let you off. Ji Yu King reminded. Jian Wushuang looked grave. He looked around and sensed numerous eyes burning with greed. Most of them belonged to the Jin Kingdom experts. Kill. D. Almost simultaneously, 2 figures in gold armors appeared beside Jian Wushuang out of nowhere. They came directly at him. They were the nearest to Jian Wushuang and were the first to attack him. Since when do medium celestial masters think they can kill me? Jian Wushuang smirked and drew his blood mountain sword, with killing intent in his eyes. Clang! A low echo of sword rang. A sword light was formed out of nowhere. Anyone who saw it would find it extremely beautiful, sorrowful, and hypnotic at the same time. At that moment, many Jin Kingdom experts squinted. That swordsmanship again. He used that swordsmanship to kill nearly 20 celestial masters of ours. Careful, consciousness attack. Some Jin Kingdom expert reminded. However, it was too late. The 2 attacking celestial masters were already in a trance and were beheaded by the beautifully sorrowful sword light. The 2 medium celestial masters were killed in moments. Bastard! His killing 2 experts made other Jin Kingdom celestial masters more furious. Their killing intents grew intenser. Jian Wushuang, this way! A woman's shout rang over the battlefield to Jian Wushuang. He immediately looked into the distance and found Celestial Master and rushing toward him. Besides, many Green Fire Palace experts had stopped some of them Jin Kingdom experts. Moreover, some capable experts were also dashing toward him. Celestial Master An is formidable. As long as I'm with her, the Jin Kingdom can't touch me. Jian Wushuang squinted and made the decision. Immediately, he dashed toward her. All the Jin Kingdom experts in the way tried to stop him. At the same time, their celestial masters dived toward Jian Wushuang. You can't run. A thunderous shout rang in Jian Wushuang's ears. It was the strong elder whom he had fought that stopped him, wielding his heavy sword. You again? Jian Wushuang's countenance slightly changed. The strong elder was a real-deal celestial master in exceptional realm and exceeded him in strength. Well, I failed to stop you last time. This time, you can't escape. The elder snorted and brandished his heavy sword at Jian Wushuang again, overwhelmingly. Ridiculous. Jian Wushuang sneered and wielded his blood mountain sword as well. Crash. The 2 clashed and Jian Wushuang was immediately defeated back. However, by the force, Jian Wushuang managed to sail through the void and got away from the elder. Slick. The elder was both shocked and furious. Then, he rushed toward Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang, hand out Nirvana elixirs, or prepare to die. A sudden roar reverberated in the space as a giant and powerful axe shadow emerged in front of Jian Wushuang. The axe shadow seemed to be able to shatter the world. Even Jian Wushuang felt that he might fail to ward it off. The axe belonged to the middle-aged man with a thunder-like mark between his brows. He was the one who got the first Nirvana elixir. Another one? Jian Wushuang's expression changed. He performed Heaven's Bane in his full strength. Whoosh! 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 As Jian Wushuang darted backward, many other Jin Kingdom experts rushed toward him. Damn! Jian Wushuang's face darkened. Jian Wushuang, quickly, give me the 3 elixirs. I'm good at defense. Even if I'm besieged, I can protect them until Celestial Master An arrives. Shouted Celestial Master Green Wolf, who had caught up with Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang, pass the elixirs to Celestial Master Green Wolf. Celestial Master An in the distance also urged. However, hearing Celestial Master An, Jian Wushuang furrowed his brows and shook his head. Celestial Master Green Wolf, help block 1 Celestial Master in exceptional realm for me. Jian Wushuang asked in a low voice. What? Celestial Master Green Wolf's countenance changed. Under such circumstances, Jian Wushuang really should pass the elixir to Celestial Master Green Wolf. The latter could keep them until Celestial Master An arrives. Why did he refuse? Doesn't he trust me? Or does he think that I'll take all the credit? Celestial Master Green Wolf was both shocked and angry. Stupid, stupid. Celestial Master Green Wolf roared in his heart. Nirvana elixir is important to our Green Fire Palace. How can he be so selfish at this time? If he insists and let the Jin Kingdom experts take them away, that'll be terrible. He'll become the sinner of Green Fire Palace. Celestial Master Green Wolf was furiously in doubt. Other Green Fire Palace experts were all shocked. How daring he is. Green Wolf is right beside him. Why doesn't he pass the elixirs? What does he want? At this time, he's actually thinking for his own benefits. He doesn't trust Celestial Master Green Wolf and is not willing to hand it over. Other Green Fire Palace experts appeared angry. In their eyes, Jian Wushuang kept the elixirs because he was selfish and wanted to keep the 3 elixirs to himself. However, no one knew Jian Wushuang's real intentions. He did trust Celestial Master Green Wolf, and he was not selfish at all. The truth was that, compared to Celestial Master Green Wolf, the elixirs would be safer with him. Chapter 1122, Jian Wushuang's Madness. Celestial Master Green Wolf is an exceptional realm and wears a protective armor. He is indeed strong in defense. However, I'm covered in blood-killing plate armor and cultivate golden image secret skill. Moreover, I have a strong body. In terms of defense, I'm better than him. His eyes flashed with excitement. When it came to surviving, Jian Wushuang believed that he was the best present. Compared to Celestial Master Green Wolf, the elixirs would definitely be safer with him. Prepare to die, Jian Wushuang. The strong elder shouted as his heavy sword became as gigantic as a mountain that charged at Jian Wushuang. Humph! The middle-aged man bearing a thunder-like mark on his forehead snorted as he brandished his giant axe at Jian Wushuang. Besides, the 3rd Celestial Master in Exceptional Realm the Jin Kingdom sent also arrived. He charged at Jian Wushuang directly. Damn! Celestial Master Green Wolf's expression changed dramatically. He glared at Jian Wushuang as he warded off the 3rd Celestial Master in Exceptional Realm. However, he could only stop one of them. There were still 2 more Celestial Masters in Exceptional Realm and a few advanced Celestial Masters that had targeted Jian Wushuang. Come and try me. Jian Wushuang's eyes flashed with immense battle intent. His Blood Mountain sword was shaking. Then, he struck quickly. Sword light flashing, Jian Wushuang single-handedly engaged the strong elder, the middle-aged man, and a few advanced Celestial Masters. The fight was intense. Bang! Bang! Clang! Boom! Thunderous sounds reverberated in the battlefield. At that time, Jian Wushuang released all the power in his body. His Blood Mountain sword was going full speed ahead. He had warded off the strikes from the strong elder and the middle-aged man with a thunder-like mark. On the other hand, the few advanced Celestial Masters charged directly at him. Humph! Jian Wushuang looked cold. A jolt went through his body, but he swiftly recovered. Kill! Kill him! He actually wants to fight us alone? He's digging his own grave. The several advanced Celestial Masters who surrounded Jian Wushuang were full of killing intents. Jian Wushuang was only fending off the 2 Celestial Masters and ignored them, which left them furious. All of a sudden, they struck again. The strong elder and the middle-aged man with a thunder-like mark moved as well. 2 Celestial Masters in Exceptional Realm, along with a few advanced Celestial Masters, encircled Jian Wushuang. Bang! 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 Horrifying growls reverberated in the air. The thunder lasted for several seconds. The 2 Celestial Masters in Exceptional Realm and the advanced Celestial Masters had attacked Jian Wushuang 10 times, but it turned out that an advanced Celestial Master screamed furiously and brandished his sword at Jian Wushuang. However, he just crouched. At the next moment, a beautifully sorrowful sword light glided over. What? The advanced Celestial Master widened his eyes. Never did he accept a blow from Jian Wushuang, who had been besieged by them for a long time. He actually had the strength to fight back. Moreover, his swordsmanship was formidable and swift as usual. The Celestial Master was penetrated in the throat before he was able to dodge. His corpse fell to the ground. "Get lost, all of you!" Jian Wushuang shouted, and again he brandished Blood Mountain Sword. This time, he used Heaven's Bane to sweep his opponents. The advanced celestial masters who had surrounded Jian Wushuang all withdrew. When they had retreated to a safe place, they stopped to stare at the scarlet-robed youth carrying a long sword. All of them looked disheartened. 2 celestial masters in exceptional realm and several advanced celestial masters joined to besiege him. It turned out he actually killed one of us? The strong elder widened his eyes with disbelief. He, Jian Wushuang, Green Wolf, was fighting another celestial master in exceptional realm. At the sight of this, he was shocked as well. If he had been besieged like that, he would have been badly injured. He would never dream of killing one of the opponents. But now, go on. Jin Kingdom bastards, go on. I'd love to see who die first. Jian Wushuang fixed his cold eyes on them, and his provocation left everyone present in fear. The strong elder and the middle-aged man with a thunder-like mark both looked terrible. However, at this time, prepare to die, Jian Wushuang. With a shout, a frosty bald teenager strode toward Jian Wushuang, carrying his golden machete. Immediately, the bald teenager clenched his gold machete with both hands. Power surged from him. Behind him, a golden dragon spectral image emerged. With overwhelmingly strong power, he struck out. Dragon Slayer. The bald teenager looked vicious. The moment he brandished the machete, terrifying strong power gathered and rushed to Jian Wushuang Dam. It's Jin Yi. Celestial Master Jin Yi from the Jin Kingdom is among the top 3 even in Celestial Masters in exceptional realm of the Jin Kingdom. Not even Celestial Master and can compare with him. Moreover, this is his best move, Dragon Slayer. Celestial Masters of Green Fire Palace were all shocked at the sight of this. Celestial Master Green Wolf furrowed his brows. Celestial Master Jin Yi has performed his best and famous strike. Even if Jian Wushuang fends it off, he'll be badly injured, Jian Wushuang. Boom! A surging golden saber shadow fell from the sky toward Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang felt majestic mountain power rushing to him. The strike was even more formidable than the combined forces of the strong elder, the middle-aged man with a cloud-like mark, and several advanced celestial masters. Nevertheless, Jian Wushuang never feared. Come on! Jian Wushuang gritted his teeth, his eyes flashing with madness. Ancient god power surrounded his Blood Mountain Sword as he expanded his body to 3 meters high. His body took on a dark gold glow. Then, he brandished his sword. Chapter 1123, Helpless. Bam! The mighty golden saber shadow and Jian Wushuang's all-out Heaven's Bane clashed. Generally, Jian Wushuang was able to beat ordinary celestial masters in exceptional realm. But Celestial Master Jin Yi was much stronger than that. As they clashed, Jian Wushuang's Heaven's Bane immediately collapsed. On the other hand, the golden saber shadow was only slightly weakened. Subsequently, Jin Yi brandished his machete one more time. At that moment, he had covered Jian Wushuang's entire body. Boom! The blade light sailed through the void and pushed Jian Wushuang under the ground. Did he die? Celestial Master Jin Yi observed the ground emotionlessly. Bang! A scarlet-robed figure surged from under the ground, stirring many gravels. He appeared in front of Jin Yi one more time. Jian Wushuang's scarlet robe rustled. His eyes were crimson and his killing intent had grown intenser. Like an immortal master, he stood in the void. Both Jin Kingdom and Green Fire Palace Celestial Masters were all stunned by the scene. What's going on? Impossible. That's absolutely impossible. Strong as the elder was, he and the middle-aged man with a cloud-like mark both find it unbelievable. His aura isn't impaired? A gasp escaped Celestial Master Jin Yi. Normally, Celestial Masters in exceptional realm were unable to fend off his best move. Celestial Master Green Wolf who mastered defense skills might fail to take the hit as well. But Jian Wushuang did. Moreover, he was not even blood-stained. His aura stayed the same. Even, Jian Wushuang was looking murderous now as if he would go to any length to fight back. How was that possible? Swoosh! A female figure showed up in front of Jian Wushuang. They were Celestial Master An and Celestial Master Yin Tong who came to his rescue. Moreover, many formidable Celestial Masters appeared beside Jian Wushuang in a row to protect him. All Jin Kingdom experts looked helpless. Jian Wushuang, good move. Celestial Master An stared at Jian Wushuang in astonishment. She sounded appreciative. Green Fire Palace experts were all stunned and looked at Jian Wushuang in awe. And the power of Jian Wushuang justified their reverence for him. Jian Wushuang. Celestial Master Green Wolf caught up with Jian Wushuang. Sorry. I was trying to take the Nirvana elixirs. Fortunately, I didn't. Otherwise. It was true. If he took the Nirvana elixir, Celestial Master Jin Yi would be targeting him. However, he did not have the confidence to ward off Celestial Master Jin Yi's Dragon Slayer. Hearing Celestial Master Green Wolf, Jian Wushuang retracted his killing intent and nodded slightly. I think I'm better in terms of defense, otherwise, I would have passed them to you without a doubt. After all, we all come from Green Fire Palace. I won't be selfish and take all the elixirs. Sorry, I got you wrong. Celestial Master Green Wolf apologized. Many other Green Fire Palace experts also misunderstood him. They thought Jian Wushuang kept the elixirs because he was selfish and wanted to keep the 3 elixirs to himself. Well, now they knew he had a plan. Well, we'll stop here. Celestial Master An waved and said, of the 6 Nirvana elixirs, we get 4. That's really something. Other Green Fire Palace experts looked delighted as well. Between the present 2 sides, Green Fireplace had an advantage. They thought 3 elixirs would suffice. At present, for Nirvana elixirs had greatly exceeded expectations. Of course, Jian Wushuang contributed a lot to their achievement. On the contrary, the Jin Kingdom experts all looked gloomy. Many vicious eyes were fixed upon Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang, it's him again. In the fight of life elixirs, he killed nearly 20 of our Celestial Masters and obtained a lot of medicines. Now, because of him, we get only 2 elixirs. He's such a nuisance. Where does he come from? And why is his aura only in Eternal Realm? The crowd complained and cursed. The 4 Jin Kingdom Celestial Masters in Exceptional Realm all gathered and glared at Jian Wushuang, teeth gritted. They were unwilling to accept the result. They were at a disadvantage, and they should have gotten more life elixirs and Nirvana elixirs. But because of Jian Wushuang, they did not get their share and lost more than they had expected. Nevertheless, no matter how furious and resentful they felt, they could only watch. After all, they could not touch Jian Wushuang. Although he had been besieged, he survived and even remained his strong aura. Now that Celestial Master and Celestial Master Yin Tong, Celestial Master Green Wolf had joined forces with him, they were less likely to kill Jian Wushuang. At this moment, Celestial Master Jin Yi discovered something, and then he became elated. At the next moment, swoosh, wind-breaking sound rang. A ghost-like figure in a black robe appeared on the battlefield out of nowhere. Seeing the figure, all Jin Kingdom experts looked delightfully surprised and bowed in respect. Heaven Shadow King! Heaven Shadow King! Their greetings resounded over the sky. Green Fire Palace experts all looked stunned at the sight of this. Bad luck, it's Heaven Shadow King of the 9 kings of the Jin Kingdom. This looks bad. He's an expert who can compare to our 5 palace masters. Heaven Shadow King actually came? All Green Fire Palace Celestial Masters were terrified. Even Celestial Master and Celestial Master Yin Tong, and Celestial Master Green Wolf flustered. Inside Jian Wushuang, Jiu King's voice cracked as well at the sight of the figure. A Universe Master. Chapter 1124, Heaven Shadow King. Universe Master was a level above both Tao Master and Celestial Master. Samsara Temple Master, Void Temple Master, and Tang Emperor were all at this level. Heaven Shadow King in front of them was a very Universe Master. Jian Wushuang, your defense ability is incomparably good, few Celestial Masters are able to kill you. However, a Celestial Master can't compare with a Universe Master. You should be careful. Jiu King said solemnly. I know. Jian Wushuang looked grave, and with a flick of the wrist, he was holding a drop of golden water in his hand, ready to escape at any time. Wearing a black robe, with a lean face and a pair of eagle-like eyes, Heaven Shadow King appeared in the Jin Kingdom camp. He glanced at the celestial master Jin Yi and asked, "How's everything going?" "My lord, everything has been going smooth, but because of Jian Wushuang, we lost a lot, and acquired only 2 Nirvana elixirs." "He alone got 3 elixirs," Celestial Master Jin Yi said coldly. "Oh." Heaven Shadow King squinted, but at the next moment, he fixed his vicious eyes upon Jian Wushuang. "An eternal realm? You're Jian Wushuang, right?" Heaven Shadow King was sneering coolly. "I heard that you've got 3 Nirvana elixirs?" "Yes, I do." Jian Wushuang nodded. "Hand over the 3 Nirvana elixirs, and I will spare you." Heaven Shadow King sounded indifferent. "Hand over the elixirs, and you spare me? You wish." Jian Wushuang snorted. "You don't? Then prepare to die." Heaven Shadow King still sounded indifferent. As he finished his threats, he swung his giant hand. With the twist of his hand, immediately, a long black whip rushed out lightning fast like a giant python. "Be careful! Jian Wushuang, run!" The Green Fire Palace experts roared. When Jian Wushuang saw Heaven Shadow King waved, he immediately consumed the golden drop of water in his hand to make his aura soar. He waved the long sword and released his mighty power. He was ready to go to any length to fend off the long black whip. But the black long whip was weirdly flexible. It directly bypassed Jian Wushuang's swordsmanship and slammed onto him hard like a soaring dragon. This whip. There was a trace of horror in Jian Wushuang's eyes. He had done his best, but his swordsmanship's speed fell short of the dark and long whips. Now he could only watch the black and long whip slamming on him. Snap! A crisp sound rang, faintly accompanied by cracklings of bones. Jian Wushuang directly spat a large mouthful of blood and grew pale. He was slammed into beneath the ground, but at the next moment, he rose up again. And this time he did not hesitate to escape. He didn't die. Is it because of the ancient god power? Heaven Shadow King looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise. He just saw that Jian Wushuang had absorbed the ancient god power. Absorbing the ancient god power could make people's strength soar in a short period of time, not only in the attacking power but also in one's defensive ability. Heaven Shadow King was quite confident in his own strength. Although he did not display an all-out attack, he believed it was enough to end a celestial master in exceptional realm. Now that Jian Wushuang survived, he could only blame it on the ancient god power. It'll just take a little more effort. Looking at the escaping Jian Wushuang, Heaven Shadow King stayed indifferent and then vanished into black smoke. It's too strong. A universe master is too strong. As Jian Wushuang escaped, he looked terrified. At the moment Heaven Shadow King acted, he absorbed the ancient god power to improve his attack power and defensive ability. However, he was still seriously injured. One must know that his defensive ability was extremely good. Celestial Master Jin Yi had displayed an all-out assault, and Jian Wushuang stayed unharmed. "Jian Wushuang, I will heal you as soon as possible. Your combat power won't be influenced for now. But you must not let Heaven Shadow King catch up with you, otherwise, such an attack. A whip can't kill you, but a few more whips will definitely crumble you." Jiu King warned solemnly. "I know." Jian Wushuang nodded heavily. As he was escaping, he looked back to check. What? Jian Wushuang's countenance changed because he saw that Heaven Shadow King was constantly approaching him. Heaven Shadow King was much faster than him. How can it be? Jian Wushuang was shocked. You must know that at this moment, he had already tried his best to display the second Dragon Blood secret skill. The spiritual power in his body was burning wildly, and his speed had skyrocketed by 100 times. However, he still failed to get rid of Heaven Shadow King. And they were getting closer and closer. Damn, Heaven Shadow King must be very fast. An ordinary universe master will never be fast like this. Jiu King guessed he was right. Among the 9 kings of Jin Kingdom, Heaven Shadow King was much faster than the ordinary ones. Even though Jian Wushuang burnt immense spiritual power to display Dragon Blood secret skill, he still failed to escape Heaven Shadow King's long whip. Jian Wushuang, you have to die. Heaven Shadow King's eyes were cold, and then, he immediately appeared behind Jian Wushuang. At the same time, he whipped the giant python-like black whip. It was still so weird that Jian Wushuang could not ward it off. The dark long whip once again slammed on Jian Wushuang. This time, Heaven Shadow King did not hold back his strength. Snap! With a crisp sound, Jian Wushuang felt a burning pain on his back. His internal organs and bones were being squeezed as if they were going to explode. He was spitting blood again. Is this whip even stronger than before? Jian Wushuang's expression changed dramatically. I can't stand another whip. I can only take one last strike. However, when Heaven Shadow King found Jian Wushuang was still alive, his face fell. He was a universal master and actually personally dealt with Jian Wushuang, who was an eternal realm. He had confronted the latter 2 times, and still failed to kill Jian Wushuang. He found it embarrassing. No matter what, the third whip must kill Jian Wushuang. Chapter 1125. Sword Emperor arrives. Humph! Heaven Shadow King snorted, and at the next moment, he was holding a drop of golden water in his palm, a drop of ancient god power. You've made me use the ancient god power. Jian Wushuang, if you die in honor. The indifferent voice of heavenly shadows echoed between heaven and earth. Then, the Shadow King guided the ancient god power into the body. The ancient god power could help a celestial master greatly by doubling his combat power in a short time. Though it was not that effective to a universe master, it still could increase Heaven Shadow King's battle strength by 50. At that time, Heaven Shadow King once again whipped the long whip. It was still a casual blow, but the whip twisted like a giant python. It was obviously much stronger than the previous 2 whips. I can't stand it. Jian Wushuang suddenly squinted, and he felt he might fail to ward it off. Suddenly, clang! With an echo of sword, it suddenly snowed. The whole ground was stained with white snowflakes. The sky and the void became cold and bone-chilling. Heaven Shadow King looked surprised, and he could not help but stop. His black and long whip hung in the air. He looked up and stared as far as the eyes could reach. An indifferent man carrying a long sword walked slowly in the snow toward him. With every step he took, the snow broke at his feet. After a long while, he arrived in front of Heaven Shadow King. As he stopped, the snowflakes disappeared in an instant, and everything returned to normal. Heaven Shadow King looked gloomy, his brow wrinkled as he saw the visitor. This is... Jian Wushuang was also watching the person, and in his perception, this indifferent man was just a celestial master. But the celestial master carried a horrible sword essence that even Jian Wushuang found terrifying. It was this celestial master that made Heaven Shadow King, one of the 9 kings of Jin Kingdom, stop his attack, and even look very serious. A strong sword essence. Jiu King inside Jian Wushuang spoke. I have seen a lot of sword principle experts after I have parasitized on you. Like your father, you have opened up the strongest sword principle. The sword essence that you have is quite worthwhile. However, you can't compare with the person in front of you at all. So powerful sword essence, and only a celestial master, then he is. Jian Wushuang had already guessed the identity of the person. Sunrise Sword Emperor. Heaven Shadow King bit his teeth, staring at the visitor. In the entire Green Fire Palace, there was only one celestial master that could lay such pressure on him. That was the greatest sword cultivator recognized by the Green Fire Palace, and one of the 5 palace master of the Green Fire Palace, Sunrise Sword Emperor. Heaven Shadow King. Sunrise Sword Emperor glanced at Heaven Shadow King and spoke coolly. You are a well-known and respected figure in the world. Don't you think hurting a junior of our Green Fire Palace is too far? Too far? Heaven Shadow King snorted. In this world, strength rules, as long as you have strength, so what if you go too far? You are right, this world is about strength. If so, then today I want to know how great your strength is. Sunrise Sword Emperor said coldly, and upon finishing his words, he looked up. Like a lightning, immense sword essence rushed toward Heaven Shadow King. At the same time, the surrounding world had once again become white, cold and frosty. Carrying the long sword, Sunrise Sword Emperor lifted his right hand to draw the long sword behind him. At the moment his palm touched the hilt, bang! Horrible sword essence suddenly broke out, and the blade was instantly unsheathed. Before Jian Wushuang had the time to see the movements of Sunrise Sword Emperor, an immaterial sword shadow had already broken out. The sword shadow looked ordinary, but when it glided over, it even left Heaven Shadow King, who had reached the level of Universe Master, stunned. Immediately, aura surged from Heaven Shadow King's body. With the help of the ancient god power, he released more power to brandish the long whip. Bam! A loud noise. The immaterial sword shadow collided with the black long whip head-on, leaving the void crackling. Humph! Heaven Shadow King grunted, and his face immediately paled. He no longer tried to save face and withdrew until he stopped far away from Sunrise Sword Emperor. Then, he managed to get back on his feet. This scene left Jian Wushuang and experts from both the Jin Kingdom and Green Fire Palace in shock. One must know that Heaven Shadow King had absorbed the ancient god power and displayed stronger strength. However, Sunrise Sword Emperor confronted his opponent with his bare hands. It turned out that he was defeated by Heaven Shadow King. Sunrise Sword Emperor is really something. The voice of Jiyu King rang in Jian Wushuang's ears. There is a great gap between the Universe Master and the Celestial Master. Even in the eternal chaotic world, it's rare for a Celestial Master to challenge a Universe Master. However, Sunrise Sword Emperor not only challenged a Universe Master but also displayed power much stronger than a normal Universe Master. In addition, his sword essence is indeed very strong. If I'm not mistaken, he must have opened up two strongest sword principles at the same time, and then combined them to obtain a Dharma body. Two strongest sword principles? Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes. After a round, Heaven Shadow King lost and retreated to somewhere afar. He dared not to confront Sunrise Sword Emperor again. Many Green Fire Palace Celestial Masters appeared next to Sunrise Sword Emperor. Sunrise Sword Emperor. Palace Master Sunrise Sword. Celestial Masters all bowed. Even the strongest Dark Celestial Master acted respectfully in front of Sunrise Sword Emperor. Palace Master? Jian Wushuang realized. The Green Fire Palace now has a total of 5 Palace Masters. Aside from Void Temple Master, Samsara Temple Master, and Tang Emperor, the 4th should be Sunrise Sword Emperor, but I don't know who'll be the last 5th Palace Master. Sunrise Sword Emperor waved his hand and signaled everyone to get up, and then he said, "When I found life medicines in the nearby areas, I immediately came here. I spent a lot of time on my way here. Today I finally arrived, and it seems that it is not too late." Hearing the words of Sunrise Sword Emperor, many of the Green Fire Palace Celestial Masters looked pleasantly surprised. Sunrise Sword Emperor did not come late, and it was really the right time. Chapter 1126. Danshin. Both the experts from the Green Fire Palace and the Jin Kingdom returned to the outside of the Danshin Palace again. The two camps confronted each other from a distance. Since a lot of people had been slaughtered by Jian Wushuang previously, the overall strength of the two camps did not differ enormously. The most powerful expert in the Jin Kingdom was Heaven Shadow King, while the Green Fire Palace had Sunrise Sword Emperor to support them. Obviously, Sunrise Sword Emperor was much mightier than Heaven Shadow King, which greatly boosted the morale of experts from the Green Fire Palace. The life elixirs and nirvana elixirs came from the Danshin Palace. Sunrise Sword Emperor stared at the Danshin Palace indifferently and said slowly, "If I am right, the Danshin Palace is controlled by a spirit. Come out, there's no need to hide." Sunrise Sword Emperor's resonant voice penetrated the restriction and went into the Danshin Palace. An awkward silence pervaded here, and soon afterwards, a shadowy figure slowly appeared before the crowd from the enormous hall of the Danshin Palace. It turned out to be a chubby bald elder who had a pair of eyes as small as those of mouses. He looked quite cunning. Is this man the spirit of the Danshin Palace? Celestial Masters from the Green Fire Palace and the Jin Kingdom all looked at this elder surprisedly. He looked ordinary, and if he was put in the crowd, he definitely was the most inconspicuous one. Ha ha! Being stared by so many experts present, the chubby elder let out roars of weird laughter. I plan to play with you for some more time, but now that you have brought my identity out into the open, I have no choice but to make an appearance. Alas, these nirvana elixirs are going to be wasted. He looked terribly sorry for that, and 2 dark purple elixirs appeared in his hands. Everyone on the scene knew what they were. They were Nirvana elixirs that they had just fought madly for. Are there any other Nirvana elixirs? The celestial masters from the 2 camps were burning with desire. The chubby elder noticed their expressions and smiled weirdly. He clenched his fists and crushed the 2 elixirs in his hands into powder in front of those people. After that, he threw them away as if they were rubbish. This, you bastard! You are wasting treasures recklessly. Voices mixed of shock and anger sounded outside the Danshin Palace. They had just fought desperately for the 6 Nirvana elixirs, and quite a few experts died because of that. However, the chubby elder just crushed 2 Nirvana elixirs casually. Although they were furious and astonished, they were more confused. They did not understand what this elder wanted to do on Earth. The spirit of the Danshin Palace. Do you have a name? Sunrise Sword Emperor looked at him coldly and still remained calm. Name? Of course, I have. But unfortunately, I have long forgotten it after so many years. Since this is the Danshin Palace, just call me Danshin, the chubby elder said. Upon hearing this, the experts from the 2 camps had an odd expression on their faces. He has forgotten his name? How long has he lived? Jian Wushuang thought and knitted his brows. He has lived since this giant battlefield has existed, Gu King stated. As a spirit without a master, he must have been living a lonely life over the years. No one can stand such a life, even a spirit like him. He surely has become eccentric and crazy. That means, Jian Wushuang, he must be a throughout lunatic. Lunatic? Jian Wushuang was shocked. Danshin. Sunrise Sword Emperor opened his mouth again. You'd been on this battlefield for so many years and had always remained silent, but you chose to show up during this period. I assume you must have your reasons. Tell me, what is your purpose? Purpose? Ha ha, my purpose? The chubby elder laughed out loud crazily. It's very simple. I just want to fool you and make you my playthings. Fool us? Playthings? The experts from the 2 camps frowned. Danshin continued to laugh crazily. I had been in this damn place for too long. It's so long that I cannot even remember. I haven't ever encountered any man over the years. But when I woke up a decade ago, I finally saw a human expert pass by this area. So, how could I just let him go? I decided to tease him. I threw out a life elixir on purpose and let him find it and surprised him. Later, I threw out a few more life elixirs in succession and let him discover all of them. He was overjoyed and chose to stay here to search for more life elixirs. Then, I guided him to find other life elixirs step by step, from which I enjoyed some fun. This is the only fun I have gained during that hard time. Hearing Danshin's words, Jian Wushuang frowned and thought. He hadn't met any person over that long period. This is an unknown area. Both the experts from the Green Fire Palace and the Jin Kingdom has just explored it in recent years. Thus, that human expert was the first man Danshin has ever encountered. Gu King said. Jian Wushuang immediately understood that. Originally, I intended to let that man provide me with a little more fun. I tried to lead him to a place full of dangers and let him die there. But I didn't expect that there would be another human being coming there soon. Obviously, they were from different camps. I deliberately guided them to meet each other and kill each other crazily for life elixirs. Ha ha. Interesting. It's fucking interesting. What's more interesting was that more and more humans came here to search for life elixirs. I designedly threw out life elixirs to cause you guys to fight each other. Seeing that scene, I was greatly pleased. Danshin laughed wildly. Outside the Danshin Palace, the celestial masters from the 2 camps looked terrible. They did not expect that it was Danshin who intentionally threw out the life elixirs on this area. His purpose was to guide them to fight for the life elixirs madly so that he could enjoy some fun. Chapter 1127, Lunatic. Bastard, you amused yourself by watching us fighting and killing each other? You treated us as playthings? Damn it! Curses could be faintly heard among the crowd. However, Danshin did not care. He added, "When I saw so many people come to this area, I knew it was time for me to come out again. Since then, humans gathered here. Just as what you have seen, I threw out the elixirs one after another. You killed each other madly in order to contend for them, and I had some fun. That was good for both sides." Good for both sides? The experts present gnashed their teeth and glared at Dan Xin. Dan Xin said all this easily, but they risked their lives in order to attain those elixirs. "Boy, you are Jian Wushuang, right?" Dan Xin's evil voice sounded again. "Eh?" Jian Wushuang looked up at Dan Xin. "You should be thankful to me. Without me, you couldn't have obtained 3 Nirvana elixirs at once." Dan Xin grinned and said. Jian Wushuang's face fell. He knew that he would not be so lucky. The last 3 Nirvana elixirs that Dan Xin threw out moved directly toward him. As he expected, Dan Xin did this on purpose. "I've noticed you when you were scrambling for life medicines. You are merely an Eternal Realm rookie, but your battle strength is awesome. Even in the eternal chaotic world, you are like a monster. I'm naturally more interested in you." Dan Xin smiled. "Really? I really appreciate it," Jian Wushuang said coldly. It seemed that Dan Xin offered him benefits. In fact, Dan Xin amused himself by doing so. Although he had acquired 3 Nirvana elixirs, he experienced a near escape. Seeing Jian Wushuang's expression, Dan Xin was not annoyed. He looked around and said, "Fine, I'm not going to talk nonsense to you guys anymore. Now that I appeared, I definitely will find a master. I'm wondering who is interested in my Danshin Palace?" Upon hearing that, the experts from the 2 camps suddenly looked up and were burning with greed. Their desire was stronger than ever. They knew that there were a lot of precious elixirs in the Danshin Palace. Perhaps the Nirvana elixirs and life elixirs were not the best elixirs there. After all, they just saw Dan Xin crush 2 Nirvana elixirs causally and threw them away like rubbish with their own eyes. Whoever was able to become the master of the Danshin Palace and obtain a large number of elixirs from it was bound to receive great opportunities. With these elixirs, be it the Jin Kingdom or the Green Fire Palace, their strength would usher in an unprecedented leap. "Dan Xin, tell me what conditions are required if I want to be the master of the Danshin Palace?" Sunrise Sword Emperor said indifferently. Dan Xin laughed weirdly and said, "Now I'm in charge of the Danshin Palace. It's easy to become its master. You just need to find a way to please me." "To please you?" The experts from the 2 camps froze. "How about this? There is a piece of iron in my hand, and I believe you all know that, right?" Dan Xin stretched his hand so that everyone could see that piece of pitch-black iron clearly. "This is black iron?" Everyone present could recognize it. The black iron was the most common and abundant metal in the whole world. Not to mention the green fire world, even in the ancient world, it was very common. "Dan Xin, what do you do with a piece of black iron?" The experts present were very puzzled. "Listen, if you want to make me happy, you have to find a way to attain more black iron. I don't need too much. 500,000 kilograms are sufficient." Dan Xin said. 500,000 kilograms of black iron? The expressions of the experts here turned more eccentric. There were plenty of ordinary metals such as the black iron in the green fire world. Not to mention 500,000 kilograms of black iron, they could easily collect even 50 million kilograms of such things. The problem was that as powerful celestial masters, they would not put such common things in their interspatial rings. Which celestial master would pile up so much ordinary black iron in his interspatial ring? Haha, I know that you don't have black iron at hand, but it exists in the area where you are right now. There are innumerable black iron veins under the mountains that look like a human face. You can acquire as much black iron as you want so long as you are willing to work hard. Dan Xin smiled. Hearing his words, the experts from the 2 camps were black in the face. How dare this bastard ask us to mine black iron? He doesn't want a master but makes fun of us. Mining black iron? I have never done such a thing since I was born. Roars of low-pitched growls sounded among the crowd and the experts from the 2 camps glared at Dan Xin. But no matter how wrathful they were, Dan Xin never paid any attention to that. The opportunity is right here. If you want to own the Danshin Palace, just give it a try. If you are not willing to do that, I won't force you. Dan Xin smiled. In addition, the opportunities are limited. Whoever attains 500,000 kilograms of black iron can try first. You have to treasure the opportunity. After that, Danshin directly slept on the ground, ignoring the experts from the two camps. Seeing this scene, though furious, the celestial masters from the two camps had no other choice. After all, Danshin never forced them to do that. Did it or not, that was their choice. What should we do? Are we really going to mine black iron? Let us mine black iron? How dare he dream up that, bastard? Complaints were heard everywhere in the camp of the Green Fire Palace. Jian Wushuang, am I not wrong? Danshin's heart has been distorted over the years. He is crazy, a complete lunatic. Jiu King's voice rang out. I believe even if you really follow his instructions and obtain 500,000 kilograms of black iron, I am afraid you cannot get a chance to own the Danshin Palace either. Yeah, I can figure out that. Jian Wushuang nodded his head. From Danshin's behaviors, he could tell that he was a lunatic. Jian Wushuang. When he heard the voice, he saw Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long, who were on good terms with him, walked toward him. Chapter 1128. Put the shoe on the right foot. Celestial Master Yi, Celestial Master Meng Long. Jian Wushuang smiled and greeted them. Well, where is Celestial Master Jin Chu? Jin Chu died. Celestial Master Yi sighed. Jian Wushuang froze but soon shook his head. He had even nearly been killed by Heaven Shadow King in that fierce battle. Therefore, as a medium Celestial Master, Jin Chu was very likely to die. Danshin, that old bastard, is clearly making fun of us. Celestial Master Yi swore in a low voice. All right, stop complaining. Celestial Master Meng Long glanced at Celestial Master Yi and then asked, Jian Wushuang, will you mine the black iron? No. Jian Wushuang directly shook his head. What about you? Celestial Master Meng Long and I plan to take our chance. It's no big deal but merely to mine 500,000 kilograms of black iron, and it's nothing serious even if the Danshin Palace doesn't recognize one of us as its master after that. But once we succeed in doing that, it will be beneficial to both us and the Green Fire Palace. Celestial Master Yi said. Jian Wushuang lifted his eyebrows and nodded. Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long quickly set off. Apart from them, the better part of the other Celestial Masters from the Green Fire Palace chose to mine the black iron. Only a few people were unwilling to contend for that. Jian Wushuang was one of them. Of course, instead of cherishing his dignity, he did do that because he was not interested in the Danshin Palace. Be it the life elixirs or the nirvana elixirs, they don't do me much good. I fought for them for the sake of the Green Fire Palace. I have had enough life elixirs and even 3 nirvana elixirs, so I have done my best for the Green Fire Palace. As for making the Danshin Palace recognize me as its master, Jian Wushuang glanced at the Danshin Palace that was still located in the restriction and shook his head. He was well aware that Danshin would never allow others to become the master of the Danshin Palace so easily. And even if it finally had a master, that would never be him. Since the Danshin Palace is a place to store elixirs, his master must be the one who has gained great attainments on refining elixirs or can recognize all the elixirs. Jian Wushuang, you don't know anything about refining elixirs and the categories of elixirs. It's impossible for the Danshin Palace to recognize you as its master. This was what Jiu King said to him. Jian Wushuang also knew this, so he had no intention to get himself involved in the following dealings. Ignored the present experts, Jian Wushuang walked to Sunrise Sword Emperor. Sunrise Sword Emperor. Jian Wushuang saluted. Oh, Jian Wushuang? Sunrise Sword Emperor looked at Jian Wushuang. Although he still looked deadpan, there was a hint of kindness in his eyes. Thank you for saving me just now, Sword Emperor. Jian Wushuang said gratefully. You are a member of my Green Fire Palace and you were risking for the Green Fire Palace. Since I arrived here, I was obliged to save you. Any other palace masters will rescue you without hesitation. Sunrise Sword Emperor said. Although Sunrise Sword Emperor said so, Jian Wushuang still appreciated him a lot. After all, without him, his world body would have been exterminated. Even though he would not die, the treasures on him might be seized by others. Furthermore, some of his secrets would be exposed. Sunrise Sword Emperor, these are 3 Nirvana elixirs and all the life elixirs I have just acquired. Jian Wushuang took out an interspatial ring and handed it to Sunrise Sword Emperor. As soon as Sunrise Sword Emperor glanced over that, he looked quite surprised. Why don't you leave 1 Nirvana elixir for yourself? It will be of great use for you in the future. Jian Wushuang obtained the 3 Nirvana elixirs through a near escape, and he himself needed them too. No one would have any objection if he wanted to keep one. No. Jian Wushuang shook his head. I'm not even a Dao master currently, and there's still a long way to go if I want to reach that stage. Therefore, this elixir doesn't do much good to me. It would be better to give them to other experts in the Green Fire Palace. Perhaps this will enable the Green Fire Palace to possess one more palace master. Sunrise Sword Emperor raised his eyebrows and looked at those life elixirs. 29 life elixirs? It's quite a lot. Jian Wushuang smiled helplessly. He did obtain quite a few life elixirs. He adventured this area for 17 years and attained 11 life elixirs. Moreover, he killed nearly 20 celestial masters from the Jin Kingdom in the fierce battle just now and obtained quite a few life elixirs as well. Thus, he had 29 life elixirs in total. You don't have to give these life elixirs to me. When you return to the Green Fire Palace, exchange them for fire points directly in the Fire Point Exchange Office. Sunrise Sword Emperor smiled. I exchange them in the Fire Point Exchange Office? Jian Wushuang's eyes narrowed. Void Temple Master had announced that a life elixir could exchange for 10,000 fire points. 29 life elixirs naturally could exchange for 290,000 fire points. This was definitely an astronomical figure. Jian Wushuang, if you don't have anything important to do on this battlefield, why don't you return to the Green Fire Palace as soon as possible? Sunrise Sword Emperor suddenly said. Return to the Green Fire Palace as soon as possible? Why? Jian Wushuang asked. You should know that our palace has controlled many places of opportunities on this battlefield. The most important ones should be the 3 secret lands. Among them, the Sword World will open again before long. Sunrise Sword Emperor explained. The Sword World is about to open? Jian Wushuang was taken aback. The most important one among the 3 secret lands was the Space-Time Secret Land. It only opened every million years. The second important one was the Sword World. The Sword World only opened every 100,000 years. Jian Wushuang was very curious about it when he heard about it for the first time. He didn't expect he would be able to enter the Sword World in a short period. But now, you have performed exceptionally meritorious services for our Green Fire Palace by acquiring 3 Nirvana elixirs, 29 life elixirs, and killing so many experts from the Jin Kingdom. Our palace always put the shoe on the right foot. We cannot offer you treasures whose value matches that of the 3 Nirvana elixirs, so after I return to the Green Fire Palace, I will discuss with other palace masters about offering you the opportunity to enter the Sword World. The Sword World means a great opportunity for warriors who major in sword principles. I've been there before, and I have gained a lot. Your talent on sword principles is even better than mine, and I believe you can obtain more benefits. Sunrise Sword Emperor smiled. Chapter 1129, The Potential to be a Leader. When he learned that the Sword World was about to open, Jian Wushuang immediately returned to the Green Fire Palace without hesitation. After all, it only opened every 100,000 years. If he missed the opportunity this time, he had to wait another 100,000 years to enter it again. On the way back to the Green Fire Palace, he received a message from Celestial Master Yi, and Celestial Master Menglong Danshin was indeed making fun of them. Quite a few Celestial Masters from the 2 camps followed his instructions to mine black iron on that battlefield recklessly. Within a few days, someone had gathered 500,000 kilograms of black iron. Nonetheless, when they handed the black iron to Danshin, he said whoever had cultivated for more than 500,000 years were not qualified to become the master of the Danshin Palace. Many Celestial Masters from the 2 camps had been outraged by this. Each one of the Celestial Masters here had lived a long time. 90 of them had lived for more than millions of years, and only a few had just lived for 100,000 years. As for people whose cultivation age did not exceed 500,000 years, There were few celestial masters in the two camps who met that condition. In addition, Danshin also said that apart from that condition, the one who wanted to be the Danshin Palace's master must possess great attainments on refining elixirs and have to pass the test of the Danshin Palace. All of a sudden, all the celestial masters from the two camps outside the Danshin Palace lost the qualification. Those celestial masters had worked hard to mine the black iron, but they had no chance to give it a shot at last. Naturally, they flew into a rage but could do nothing to Danshin. They all knew Danshin was a complete lunatic. He controlled the Danshin Palace, so they had to listen to what he had said. In short, the battle for the Danshin Palace had calmed down and the celestial masters from the two camps had also left, leaving the Danshin Palace to stay where it was. The two camps had already sent some younger ones who possessed great attainments on refining elixirs here, but no one knew whether there was anyone who had become its master in the end. In a lofty palace in the Jin Kingdom. Your Excellency, this is the information about Jian Wushuang from the Green Fire World. A silver-robed man walked in. Information about Jian Wushuang? It finally comes. A barefoot bald man stood at the center of the hall. He looked cold and had eyes like a hawk. He took the information with a wave of his hand and began to look through it carefully. More than a decade ago, when Chu Yang sent Jian Wushuang's name back to the Jin Kingdom, the senior officials of the Jin Kingdom already ordered people to investigate Jian Wushuang. However, since the Jin Kingdom's force in the Green Fire World was limited, their intelligence capabilities were naturally not so good. That was why the bald man just received the information about Jian Wushuang. After he glanced over the intelligence about Jian Wushuang, his eyes turned cold. Jian Wushuang is from the ancient world and is indeed an eternal realm expert. Since he was born, he has been cultivating for only more than 2,000 years. The bald man felt that it was incredible. He could remain calm when learning that Jian Wushuang was only an eternal realm expert, but when he saw his cultivation age, he was shocked. 2,000 years? He killed nearly 20 celestial masters from my country in the battle of contending for life elixirs. He possesses the battle strength equivalent to that of a celestial master at the exceptional realm, but he has only cultivated for more than 2,000 years. He is so powerful now, and if he is given another 2,000 years or even 20,000 years, how mighty will he be? Sunrise Sword Emperor is already a big headache for our country. Nevertheless, Jian Wushuang has greater potential than Sunrise Sword Emperor. This barefoot bald man roared. The Jin Kingdom and the Green Fire Palace had fought with each other on this giant battlefield for 5 million years. The two sides had long been each other's sworn enemy. It seemed that the Jin Kingdom always had the absolute upper hand over so many years. In fact, be it the Jin Kingdom or the Green Fire Palace, they were clear that this situation would not last long. After all, the Jin Kingdom was an outsider who had no foundation on this battlefield. However, the Green Fire Palace had the entire Green Fire world to support it. It was deeply rooted here and experts appeared continually. It was only a matter of time before it overtook the Jin Kingdom in strength. However, the Jin Kingdom had one greatest advantage over the Green Fire Palace: it had a leader. Its leader was its monarch, who was a supreme being in the Jin Kingdom and always kept his promises. The Green Fire Palace, however, had never produced a leader that matched the monarch of the Jin Kingdom from its establishment till now. The Jin Kingdom surely would exploit this advantage to the full. They did not expect the Green Fire Palace to have an expert that was likely to be a leader. They had sensed a crisis the moment Jian Wushuang's mother Ji Wuming appeared many years ago. Therefore, when they learned that the Green Fire Palace was going to send her into the samsara, they immediately dispatched a large number of experts to eliminate her. That was really a horrifying battle. But in the end, she entered the samsara. This made the Jin Kingdom feel terribly uneasy because she was the first person who was qualified to be the leader of the Green Fire Palace. But fortunately, they received the news that there was something bad happened during the process and Ji Wuming failed to be the leader of the Green Fire Palace temporarily. And the second person that upset the Jin Kingdom was Sunrise Sword Emperor. Although he was just a celestial master presently, his battle strength matched that of a universe master. Precisely speaking, he was even a little bit powerful than an ordinary universe master. If he broke through to the universe master level, he would possess the horrifying power to become the leader of the Green Fire Palace. Moreover, he had fully grown up and it was extremely difficult for the Jin Kingdom to exterminate him in advance. That was why the Jin Kingdom would have such a headache. What was more terrible was that the barefoot bald man felt the same threat on Jian Wushuang, greater than the threat that Sunrise Sword Emperor posed to him. Sunrise Sword Emperor is indeed extraordinary, but he can only possess the battle strength to be a leader after he becomes a universe master. However, Jian Wushuang, he is so mighty even at the eternal realm. When he becomes a Dao master, he is supposed to match a common universe master. Once he integrates all his sword principles together and becomes a celestial master, he probably will possess the battle strength to be a leader. If he is lucky enough to become a universe master, maybe our monarch is no match for him, I am afraid. Chapter 1130, The Blaze Quicksand Gourd. He is very likely to become a universe master and definitely will become a celestial master. That means if he doesn't die, he is destined to be the leader of the Green Fire Palace. The barefoot bald man's eyes surged with killing intent. I cannot allow him to become a celestial master. Deliver my order. Ask Axe to fix his eyes on Jian Wushuang and do his utmost to figure out his trump cards. Then contrive a method to cooperate with other experts from the Jin Kingdom to kill him. If necessary, kill him at the risk of exposing himself. The command of the bald man was quickly conveyed. Jian Wushuang did not know that the senior officials of the Jin Kingdom had already targeted him. He headed toward the Green Fire Palace after leaving the area where the Danshin Palace was at. It took him more than 20 years to return to the Green Fire Palace. I'm back. Jian Wushuang felt so good after returning to the Green Fire Palace. For the first time, he spent less than 100 years on that giant battlefield, but he had gained considerably. In terms of strength, he was much powerful than he was when he newly entered the battlefield. Jian Wushuang, go to the Firepoint Exchange Office? Asked Jiyu King. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded. He was planning to go there as well. I have acquired a lot of life elixirs outside the Danshin Palace. They are all fire points. Jian Wushuang soon came to the Firepoint Exchange Office and immediately took out the life elixirs he had obtained. He had attained 29 life elixirs and each one of them was worth 10,000 fire points. He left 4 life elixirs in case of emergency and exchanged the rest for fire points. So, he now owned a total of 250,000 fire points. I exchanged the treasures Dao Yuanzi left earlier but only gained 13,800 fire points. Their value is inferior to 2 life elixirs. Jian Wushuang sneered. HMH, you are lucky and just happened to encounter the appearance of the Danshin Palace. Otherwise, there would be no chance for you to earn so many life elixirs. Moreover, these life elixirs are less valuable in the eternal chaotic world. Jiyu King sneered. In the eternal chaotic world, a drop of the ancient god power is much more expensive than a life elixir, but it is only worth 5,000 fire points here. Jian Wushuang was speechless. He also knew that the reason why life elixirs had such a high value was that the Green Fire Palace badly needed them currently. Nonetheless, although the ancient god power was rarely seen in the eternal chaotic world, it was much easier to be discovered on this battlefield. And that explained why its value would be so low. Alright, forget about that. Now that you possess enough fire points, there's something that you can exchange? Asked Jiyu King. What? Jian Wushuang asked. Look at those special treasures. Jiyu King answered. Jian Wushuang immediately fixed his eyes on them. There were numerous treasures of all sorts with different functions in the Firepoint Exchange Office. Look at the special treasure whose value ranks the second, the Blaze Quicksand Gourd. Jiyu King answered. Oh? Jian Wushuang scanned the Blaze Quicksand Gourd. The Blaze Quicksand Gourd contains a lot of blaze quicksands and a secret skill. It can form a realm to suppress your enemy and trap him. It costs 210,000 fire points. It's so expensive. Jian Wushuang gasped in shock. He sold 25 life elixirs and only received 250,000 fire points. But this Blaze Quicksand Gourd would cost him 210,000 fire points. Even a chaos magic treasure would not demand such an exorbitant price. There are a few good things in the Firepoint Exchange Office. I have observed them and discovered the Blaze Quicksand Gourd when you first came here. Unfortunately, It costs too many fire points and you couldn't afford it before, so I didn't mention it. Now, however, you can exchange it since you own enough fire points. Asked Gu King. It should be a treasure that uses realm to suppress others from its introduction. It indeed is useful to me, but don't you think it demands an excessively high price? Is it really worth of so many fire points? Jian Wushuang could not help but ask. Yes, of course. Gu King continued. Boy, although you haven't been to the eternal chaotic world, you know that chaos gems are the transaction currency there. Normally, the whole fortune of a celestial master is about 20 chaos gems. I know. Jian Wushuang nodded. He killed Dao Yuanzi and attained a few chaos gems. But do you know how many chaos gems does the blaze quicksand gourd cost in the eternal chaotic world? Asked Gu King. How many? Jian Wushuang asked. At least 400,000 chaos gems. Even if someone is willing to pay a high price for it, there are simply not so many blaze quicksand gourds on the market. Gu King answered. What? Jian Wushuang was astonished. He had never been to the eternal chaotic world and did not have a throughout understanding of the value of the chaos gem. But he could judge its value from the total fortune of a celestial master. A celestial master's fortune was worth around 20 chaos gems. 400,000 chaos gems were 20,000 times of that. The blaze quicksand gourd is indeed very precious, like the Jin Kingdom. Although its monarch is powerful, even if you sell him, he isn't worth 400,000 chaos gems, under normal circumstances. However, the Green Fire Palace and the Jin Kingdom have obtained plenty of opportunities and treasures on this giant battlefield, and thus, their wealth cannot be judged by common sense. But in any case, using 210,000 fire points to exchange the blaze quicksand gourd is absolutely worthwhile. Asked Gu King. That will be good. Jian Wushuang smiled. My strength meets a bottleneck now. If I want to improve it, I can only make a breakthrough in sword principles. I'm required to advance the first sword principle to the highest level and become a Dao master. I assume there won't be any external treasures that enable my strength to increase by leaps and bounds. In terms of defensive ability, I possess the blood-killing plate armor and the golden image secret skill. So, this aspect cannot be improved either. Now the only thing I can promote is the special skill used for self-saving and killing enemies. The blaze quicksand gourd suits me well. Neither Jian Wushuang's attack nor his defense could be improved presently. Naturally, he could only perfect the special skills that enabled him to kill enemies.